There are two kinds of investment criteria. Basically, we can categorize under financial management. One is short-term decision making, another one is long-term decision making. Long-term decision making, one of the example of that is capital budgeting. Short-term decision making such as working capital management. Now, long-term decisions making or capital budgeting techniques, it is also known as investment decisions criteria. Capital budgeting is related to 5 specific criteria of a particular investment. Five specific criteria of a particular investment, like project generation, project execution, project selection, project evaluation and review. It's a continuous process. Okay, this kind of analysis has been done in case of decision making criteria or capital budgeting. First one is project generation, second one is project execution, third one is project selection, fourth one is project evaluation, and final one is review. The gist is that whatever amount of business organization is going to invest in a particular project, either that particular project will be beneficial or not in the point of view of the business, that can be judged under the techniques of capital budgeting. Not only that project is going to be beneficial or not, there are several pros and cons of that project also can be calculated with the help of different kinds of capital budgeting techniques. Sometimes we can use capital budgeting techniques to compare two similar kinds of project or two mutually exclusive project also. Now the techniques of capital budgeting, as simple as that, I must say, whenever you supposed to buy a particular mobile phone, now before buying that mobile phone, you must have certain kinds of predetermined criteria. Once such criteria will match, in that case obviously you are going to buy that mobile phone. What kind of criteria? You can say first is specification. What is the specification of that phone? Next one is size. Suppose I imagine what is the size of the phone. Next one is color. Okay, what is the color of the phone? Sometimes you can consider also brand, which brand you should prefer, and final one is what price. Now I mean to say, once this kind of criteria match, in that case obviously you should go and you should buy the product. Similarly, these are the variety of criteria, like selection of criteria of a mobile phone, like specifications, what kind of specifications available on that phone, either it is suit with your requirement or not, size of the phone, looks of the phone, what brand value, what brand that particular phone possesses, and what is the exact price you need to pay to acquire that particular phone. Similarly, in case of it's not exactly same, I am just taking here simple to better understanding, that is why I am taking that example. There is no direct relation of that example with capital budgeting techniques, but I can categorize that under capital budgeting also. Under capital budgeting techniques also, you can categorize the project based on certain parameters. There are different parameters, but these are the parameters what I am going to portray right now, which will be most acceptable parameters in general sense. First parameters is ARR. What is the full form of ARR? Accounting rate of return. Accounting rate of return. Second one is PBP. PBP, full form of PBP is payback period. Payback period. Third one is NPV. Full form of NPV is net present value. Fourth one is PI or BCR. PI or BCR. Either PI or BCR. Full form of PI is profitability index. Profitability index. and final one is IRR, that is called internal rate of return. Internal rate of return. Now these are the 5 specific techniques in generally we are going to learn. In simpler sense, ARR means whatever amount to invest for the project, in respect of that what yearly amount of revenue that project generate to us, what yearly income we can manage to get back from that particular project. It is considered as an ARR, accounting rate of return. Depending upon the lifetime of the project, what particular income that project generate yearly basis. Payback period, that means what amount we invested for the project, by what time the similar amount get back to in your pocket. Suppose we invest 5 lakh rupees for a particular project and the project will run for 5 years and total return is 7 lakhs. Now 5 lakhs is your investment and 7 lakhs is your total return. In the concept of payback period, we are just trying to calculate by what year you can manage to get back that exact 5 lakh rupees, whatever you invested. Next one is NPV, net present value. Net present value of the project means all future return you have to convert into today's value, and based on that you have to evaluate the project. And PI is also almost the similar concept of NPV. It is basically a index sort of representation. In PI we indexing our investment and our return. IRR is basically considered as a PV factor, or you can say discounting factor approach, discounting factor concept. What is the exact return rate, return percentage rate of the project, that also you can manage to calculate. Once you got that, it will be beneficial or not. IRR provides you the exact return of the project, what market rate of return available and what your project return back to you. In that case it will be very much easier for us to compare and to adopt that particular project. PI is basically a index sort of representations. NPV gives you what exact value of the project. In that case you can adopt that either that project will be beneficial or not, what you invested, what is the exact cost for the project and what is the exact return for the project. You can compare that and you can took the decisions either you are going to adopt that particular project or not. I must say that out of such 5 particular concepts, IRR, PI and NPV, in these 3 particular concept is considering that time value of money, but ARR and PVP won't consider the time value of money. When I am going to discuss that question, that time I elaborately discuss what is the concept of time value of money. Before starting to calculate any of the techniques of capital budgeting, one particular concept we need to remember, that is the concept of income statement. Once you understand the concept of income statement, then calculations of all such parameters of capital budgeting remain very much easier for us. Now that question is, each and every particular parameters are depend upon income statement. That is why it is most important to understand the logic of income statement under the chapter of capital budgeting. Income statement, per annum rupees. Per annum is basically considered as for annual income or annual return, or basically a time frame of particular financial return. Say imagine in a particular financial return, whatever revenue generated by a particular investment, you can say revenue, or rather you can say income. Out of that revenue or income, first you have to less all variable cost or variable expenses which require to run the business. Variable expenses means which are directly related to your project. You can write here variable expenses, okay, or variable cost also. Now once you deduct that variable cost, what remain is known as contribution. Variable expenses, as simpler sense, if it is a manufacturing concern, then depending upon the volume of productions, which items varies. It's as simple as that, like your material, your labor, the expenses which are directly related, such expenses is considered as a variable expenses. What, after deducting variable expenses, what particular terminology you got? That is known as contribution. From contribution, you have to deduct different kinds of fixed expenses. Fixed expenses. Fixed expenses in general sense considered as lighting or electricity, rent. These kind of expenses you can consider as a part of fixed expenses. Salary, that also can consider as a part of fixed expenses. Now once you deduct the fixed expenses, the most important terminology under capital budgeting will come, DT. EBDT. The full form of EBDT is earning before depreciation and tax. Earnings before depreciation and tax. This is known as EBDT. Two particular terminology here. It represent, one is depreciation, another one is tax. Depreciation, what is depreciation? Loss of service potential of fixed assets are generally known as depreciations. To run the business every year, there is a loss of value of that particular machinery or project or whatever fixed investments you have done for property or equipment. There may be a certain portion which gradually reduces depending upon the passage of time. That is known as depreciations. Now from revenue or income, first to deduct variable charges, we got contributions. From contribution we deduct fixed charges. Then we got what? We got EBDT, which represent here as earning before depreciation and tax. From EBDT, first you need to deduct depreciation. First you need to deduct depreciations. Once you deduct depreciations, then it's remain as EBT, as simple as that, earning before tax. Earlier it was earning before depreciation and tax. Next you got your income before tax only. That earnings can be interchangeably used in income. Sometimes it is also interchangeably used profit. Like it is also considered as profit before depreciation and tax. In question it is given income before depreciation or tax, income before tax, or profit before tax. Earnings and profits and income, it can be used interchangeably in the chapter of capital budgeting. Now what EBT you got, earning before tax you got from EBT. Once you deduct tax, then final the amount remain to us, that amount is known as PAT. Full form of PAT is profit after tax. PAT, full form of PAT concept is known as profit after tax. That means, give me a brief. Whatever annual income generated by a project, from that annual income first we need to deduct variable charges. The balance remain is known as what? Contribution. From contribution we need to deduct fixed charges. Then what fixed charges we deduct? After deducting that fixed charges, the balance remain is known as what? Earning before depreciation and tax. From earning before depreciation and tax, we deduct depreciation's amount. After deducting the depreciation amount, that is a gradual loss. After deducting the depreciation amount, what amount remains? That is known as what? EBT, earning before tax. Now from EBT, whatever amount we need to pay to government as a tax, that we pay. Finally the amount remain to us, that is profit after tax. That is basically considered our own amount. Okay, that is basically considered the amount remain after all necessary charges from the project in a particular year. Now there is one more concept which is also important in the chapter of capital budgeting. The concept is known as cash flow after tax. Cash flow after tax. Now the question is, PAT you got, profit after tax you calculate. Then why there is again a cash flow after tax? Our PAT is not equivalent to cash flow. In case of profit after tax, what particular cash we imagine is that cash is not same to the cash flow after tax. Then what is the difference between PAT and cash flow after tax? Then the concept of depreciation will arise. Remember, for depreciation we doesn't have to pay anybody. Okay, it is basically a non-cash item. The amount we need to deduct from the project. Depreciation amount we are going to deduct annual income of that particular project, since it is a gradual loss of assets. That is why in case of depreciation there is no money flow. Money flow in the sense we doesn't have to pay to anybody. Like when you are going to pay fixed charges, when you are going to pay variable charges, in that case we need to pay that amount. There is an outflow of that for that particular purpose. But for the purpose of depreciation there is no particular outflow occur, and that means the amount remain with us and there is a zero cash flow in terms of depreciation. What cash possesses the PAT or what amount possesses the PAT and what amount remain with us at the end of the year not the same. That means there is another logic of cash flow after tax. In cash flow after tax we need to, whatever PAT is available with us, whatever PAT is available with us, with that PAT we need to add what? Depreciation. With that PAT we need to add depreciations. You can better understanding with a given example side by side. So suppose I consider our annual income. I am just imagine here annual income is 100 rupees. Now variable expenses is 40 rupees. Then the amount remain as a contribution is 60 rupees. If there is a fixed charges of another 20 rupees, then EBDT we got suppose 40 rupees. Just imagine that figure, you better understood the difference between PAT and CFAT. Now the question is, from the EBDT, if we have a depreciation of 10 rupees, then EBT remain as 30 rupees. Say suppose we are going to pay tax to the government 40% of our income or 40% of our income. In that case, if we imagine we pay a tax of 40% of such, that means it is 12 rupees. Then the amount remain with us 18 rupees. Now the logic behind this, PAT is 18 rupees but the amount remain with our hands is 18 plus 10 because it is 28. That is the logic behind PAT and CFAT. Now give kind of income statement, what phase of income statement is related to what techniques of capital budgeting. Let me clarify that. Like ARR, in case of ARR, when you are going to calculate that ARR, which particular phase is important? There are several categories of your income statement, several phases of your income. Revenue is or income is one particular phase, contribution is another phase, EBDT is another phase, EBT is another phase, PAT is another phase, and cash flow after tax also one of the phases. Now out of that several hierarchy of income statement, several phases of income statement, which phase is important to calculate what particular techniques of capital budgeting. Now to get that ARR, the most important technique is known as PAT. Once you have to calculate PAT of the project initially. Once you calculate PAT of the project, it is become easier to calculate what you know ARR. For payback period, you have to calculate CFAT of the project. Once you know CFAT, I mean cash flow after tax, you can manage to calculate payback period. But for NPV, PI or IRR, for these three particular further process of CFAT that I will discuss when I will come to these particular techniques. Okay, you can write roughly in every cases the important terminology is CFAT.